Jodegeld kívánok, hogy vagy? Just like clockwork, isn't it? It's almost 5 a.m. Mm. Oh, that's good. The espresso. I like having the espresso machine. I almost took the espresso machine with me on my trip, but hmm, that just wouldn't have been practical. So you know what? I gotta tell you, yesterday's video sure sure struck a chord. No shortage of thoughts and comments on that video, and with all the sincerity in my heart, I gotta thank all of you that thought to share your comments, and some of the comments were just quite I don't profound. Uh, the extent to some of which you go to share your comments is just well, it's really something else. But anyway, hmm, you know what I noticed with these videos, as I've said before, you upload a video about a church built from one tree, just one tree, all the pews, the altar, the rafters, the shingles on the roof. You upload a video about a tree that built one house, or the gardens of somebody like Luther Burbank, and you get about 100, 150 people that might watch that video for a short period of time. But then you upload a video that has something to do with love, with romance, with sex, something along those lines, and the views go up significantly. So, what does that say about you? What does that say about you out there? Where are your priorities? Where the hell are your priorities when you're more inclined to watch something about sex and love and all that type of stuff than a church built out of one tree? Hmm. It makes you wonder. But anyway, I woke up this morning and I found myself thinking it's rather early. It's not even 5 a.m. yet. And I woke up chomping at the bit to um, to get to work. But I woke up and I found myself thinking of the daily videos, the morning thoughts, and it's kind of like the soap opera. I remember when I was a young kid growing up, there were really basically all of three channels in the house. AB, ABC, and well, there was a public channel, public PBS or whatever, which Sesame Street was on. But you had your ABC, NBC, CBS. You had your PBS channel, and I think you might have had a couple local channels or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, um, the soap operas were always on. I remember Luke and Laura. It was Luke and Laura, wasn't it? Luke and Laura, and General Hospital. Hmm. I remember even as a teenager. Maybe I was a teenager. I must have been a teenager. But we were hooked. We were hooked on on General Hospital and Luke and Laura and what was going to happen to Luke and Laura. It was our daytime soap opera. Us teenagers. I think we used to hang out at the Dazamba's house. Uh, we used to hang out. At least I did. I don't recall any of my brothers or sisters, but we used to hang out at the Dazamba's house every day and tune into General Hospital. Mm. And then there was the days of our lives, you know, like the sand through the hourglass. So too are the days of our lives, and it's like It's like I think that doing my morning thoughts and sharing my thoughts about my life, it's kind of like a soap opera for all of you. You tune in to Tom TV to get your daily dose of the of what's happening in Tom's life. And maybe I should start having sponsors, like they have commercials for the soap operas. Maybe I should, just say, okay, well, we're gonna do a commercial break now, and go over and and do something along those lines. I got an endorsement yesterday offer, not an endorsement. I had some company send me an email not wanting me to take their challenge to try to destroy their shoe. They'll send me a pair of shoes. I can pick any shoes I want, and I've got to put them to the test on my YouTube channel, like walking on a board of nails, or taking a grinder, like a metal grinder or something, to the toe of this thing, and mm, post it online for all of you to buy. And then once I try to destroy the shoes, and I post a video, then they'll send me another pair. They'll send me another pair to keep, and give you all 10% off when you mention the keyword, you know, Crazy Tom or something, on their website when you go to check out. But I don't need a freaking pair of shoes. I got enough pair of shoes. I don't need that. I got another endorsement offer yesterday. I got another offer yesterday as well from some company with travel products or something like that, wanting me to promote their products and stuff. And yeah, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the desire, uh, to do all that crap. I'll leave that stuff up to Skip. Skip can do, Skip can do all that product stuff, you know. But anyway, so what I don't know what else is necessarily on my mind related to the whole discussion yesterday of Rosanna and dating and what have you. Um, it's yeah, along the lines of money. Along the lines of money and spending and going out and dinner and all that kind of stuff. Um, at the end of the day, it really is all relative. It's all relative to the amount of money that you have, as to the amount of money that you spend. For example, I heard of a hotel up in Vermont. It's the Sound of Music Hotel. The Sound of Music Hotel. I don't know if it's from the original Von Trapp family from The Sound of Music, but anyway, I went to Google this thing. The Sound of Music Hotel up there in Vermont, Stowe, Vermont, and I typed in as if I were going to make a booking to see what it would set me back. And I booked 2 nights. I didn't go through with the booking, but I put 2 nights, Monday and Tuesday night, okay, in a couple weeks or something like that. And the cost for one night king bed was something like $450. $450. I looked at the pictures. It was a nice enough room. It was a nice enough room, but $450 to go to sleep and, well, maybe do some other things also. But $450. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But the other thing is that I was thinking was that, and I'll never forget. Somebody once told me this. A quote that I'll never forget. It's easy to spend someone else's money. Think about that for a moment. It's easy to spend someone else's money. And that can be so true in so many different ways. I manage I manage certain things for my clients, and when I'm managing their advertising and doing various aspects of my business, and I know that my clients have entrusted me with their uh, bank account or their credit cards or whatever it is. I always remember that. I always remember it's easy to spend someone else's money. And I try to be conscientious of that when I'm doing work for my clients. I treat their money as if it were my money. And and I don't abuse that I don't abuse that I don't know if it's a privilege, but I don't abuse that ability or that trust that they place in me. But when it comes to dating, I remember when I was down in New Zealand and I was dating Ina, the Russian woman, you know. She got so upset at me because I was leaving and I was going to Melbourne. I was going to Melbourne, and she had never Melbourne, Australia, and she had never been to the Land of Oz. She had never been to Melbourne. And she wanted me to fly her there for the weekend. She wanted me to fly her there for the weekend. And it would have cost like six, $700. Six, $700. She wanted to fly out on a Friday afternoon after work and fly home on a Sunday afternoon or something like that. So, she got all hell bent because I wouldn't drop $500 or $600 on her to go to Melbourne, for basically 72 hours or something like that. Hmm. And that's where I have that's kind of where I draw the line when it comes to dating and what have you. When a woman has certain expectations that you're going to wine and dine them, so to speak. When they say that, oh, it's old, it's something along the lines of being old fashioned, to take her out to expensive restaurants. And if you really loved me, you would do this and do that and what have you. But anyway, it's just interesting. It's easy to spend someone else's money. But the other thing, when it comes to love, my thoughts on love are basically that at the end of the day, like I've often told people, love is not something that you can just turn on and turn off. It's just not. I mean, it's something that when you meet somebody and you love that person, or you fall in love or what have you, everything else goes out the window. It all goes out the window. You can't turn your heart on like a light switch. You can't. It just doesn't work that way. But so I will. Hmm, I may or may not. I may or may not. Meet somebody, or may or may not find love again, or love find me rather. Time will. Time will tell on that whole thing. But I was having a conversation. This would be an interesting conversation, but I was talking to Rosanna the other day, and we were talking about intimacy. Intimacy between a man and a woman. And I told her that it's been my experience and observation over the years that intimacy between a man and a woman, more times than not, not always the case, but a man is looking to gratify his carnal desires, when it comes to intimacy. And oftentimes men will say anything and do anything and promise anything just to just to get to the promised land, so to speak. And oftentimes, what leads a woman to intimacy is the desire for it's the emotional attachment. It's the desire for love, the desire for the desire for companionship, the desire for what have you. And that's I think that's one of the biggest challenges, but I'm having a hard time trying to articulate my thoughts on this. But I've never been one to oh, what is it? I don't know. I'm having a hard time. It's early in the morning. I'm having a hard time articulating my thoughts today. But anyway, I've never been one uh to put my own carnal desires, my physical lust, uh at the boy, I'm having a hard time with this. I probably should just stop while I'm ahead. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead and make my breakfast and make my breakfast and get on with my day and let you all do the same. But anyway, what is today? It was a good decision, I think, to come back down here. Um, and not to keep traveling. That would have all been well and good, but it's nice to come back here, catch my breath, and focus on my professional responsibilities and what have you, and then find my way back up in a couple weeks. And the hurricane that everyone was so worried about, the devastation that did to the Bahamas. I was I was going to sleep last night and I was watching some footage of the devastation in the Bahamas. And as I looked at that type of stuff, as I looked at that, it was just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, catastrophic. As you look at those pictures, and you think, here I am worried about whether or not I'm going to find love or not, and where's my next trip and what have you. And these poor people, their lives are just turned upside down and changed forever. It tells you, it goes to show you how fragile life is. But anyway, all right. So I need to get on with my day. We'll do the question of the day today. Sorry, I wasn't sorry I wasn't as articulate or able to complete my thought process. With the topic of intimacy. But anyway, maybe I'll try again another day. Alexa, what's the question of the day?
Welcome back. Here is today's question of the day. The topic is geography. It is worth 5 points. Kazakhstan is considered the largest landlocked country in the world in terms of land area. Which landlocked country is the second largest? You can answer A, Switzerland, B, Ethiopia, C, Democratic Republic of the Congo, or D, Mongolia.
What is Mongolia?
You have 3 correct answers in a row.
Wow.
You have earned your 5th geography badge and 5 points. Completely surrounded by China and Russia, Mongolia is the second largest landlocked country in
What
the
do I
world.
get for these points? That's what the hell I want to know. I mean, it's all well and good that I'm getting these answers right and I'm getting 5 points. But what the hell are the points for? Can I trade them for a beachfront condo in Maui? Can I get miles, to go from here to there or whatever. I mean, what the hell are these points for? Does anybody out there know? All right. Anyway, have a have a great day, everyone. Take good care.